Welcome back, everyone, to the Tastemakers, the podcast where we watch a lot of TV and tell you what you should and shouldn't watch. My name is Grace Leeder. Typically, Taran Armstrong is here, but Taran is not here this week. So instead, I have found a couple of guests. This will be a part 1 and a part 2 podcast, which is very fun, all in one podcast. And this week, we're going to do a thing that I don't watch very much, but I know a lot of people do, and I'm interested in it. So I'm going to talk about Hallmark movies. And my first guest is very special because it's a person I know quite well, but the audience does not know quite well. Because it's my mom. My mom is here, Nora Leeder. Hi, Nora. Hi, Mom. I said Nora, but I meant, I guess, hi.
Is that like
Mom.
Nora Mum? Like all one word?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nora Mum.
Nora Mom.
Mum
Yeah.
Nora.
I just don't ever say hi, Nora, to you. So it was weird that I did it, but also people should probably know that your name is Nora instead of
Yeah.
Mom.
There you go. Yeah. I've been called worse. So,
Not by me.
No, not by you. No.
All right. Hallmark movies.
Hallmark movies.
You were telling me we went to a musical last week, and you were saying that you were talking about how my father, your husband, gets annoyed with you because the PVR gets full of Hallmark movies. Is that right?
Yes, this is true for many, many years now. So if you go into our PVR, it would be like 90% Hallmark movies right now. And then the other annoying part is that it's a new system for us. And so it's very hard to sift through the things that your dad might want to watch. However, it doesn't annoy me because I have a whole list of Hallmark movies that in any moment I can go back and have a feel good moment. So like, I'm happy. So,
Great.
Yeah.
This is like, I feel like if I come home any other time of the year, upstairs not upstairs, on the main living room TV is typically, I feel like the TV is often on HGTV. This is what's often on television. That's, I think, mostly Dad's doing.
Yeah, there's some of those. Yeah, we both
like them too. You like them too.
Yes, yeah.
Is that like a keep the peace? Like HGTV is like, I've never talked to you about this, but it is on I feel like when I come home, that's what you watch. Unless I'm there on a weekday, in which case in the morning you do go through your run of. I mean, so this is what this podcast is about the Tastemakers. I do feel like part of the fun of having you on, and then we're gonna have a guest, Jessica. She's gonna be on after you, and Jessica's gonna give me like a state of the union of Hallmark movies.
Okay.
But other people getting to come on these weeks where Taran isn't on is I'm able to bring on people who don't have the same tastes as me, and so we're making different tastes. You watch. Tell me what your morning. I know what it is, I think, but what is your morning television watch through? Because you are retired. This makes it sound like also like you're just watching TV all the day, which is not true.
Yeah. I work part-time now in my retirement, but yeah. And so during the week, I have to admit I'm a breakfast television lover. So
that's a Canadian thing I think, right?
Oh, right. Yes,
is it?
Yeah. It's a Canadian morning show, and I love the morning shows. But if it's the weekend and it's not on, I tend to get up pretty early, like even 5:30. This time of year, the tree lights are twinkling. It's just me with my coffee, and I see which Hallmark movie I can run before your dad gets up. And then once he gets up, I tend to go to an HGTV because we will both watch those.
And then at night, you'll return back to Hallmark. Or if you're like downstairs doing Christmas wrapping or you could put on a Hallmark movie.
Or if I'm doing Christmas baking, those kinds of things, it'll be on upstairs, which is really strange because the other day your dad said to me, "Oh, I watched this movie. I don't know whether you've watched it, but it was on your Hallmark channel." And it was one of the three men, like there's a series, there's three of them. And it was like, I think the Three Wisest Men or something.
Okay.
He thought it was hilarious. And I said, there is something good in the Hallmark movies. So it is funny. Sometimes I will catch him not turning the TV after I leave. So, which I find very amusing. So, yeah.
Okay, we have literally never. I know that you watch a lot of Hallmark movies, and I did ask you initially. We were maybe going to watch one, like I was going to watch the same one. I have to admit, I did not watch the Christmas Cookbook. But the idea behind, but then we decided not to do. I decided not to do that because I figured most people won't have watched the Christmas Cookbook, so we're just going to chat generally. But I've never really asked you, but like, yeah, the PVR is full of Christmas, and I sometimes see you going through. How do you like? You can't just say like record all the Hallmark movies. How do you figure out, are you like just searching the Hallmark movie channel and being like, okay, I don't know that one, record that one, I don't know that one, or I like that one, record that one. How are you filling up the PVR?
Because I basically go through and record as many, especially on the weekend. But the challenge is right now they put new ones out like Thursday night. So I have to plan ahead and go through and actually go through the guide, and I PVR them. Now, if anybody knows a trick, feel free to like let me know, but I manually go in and load them up. And then if I start watching one, which there's only probably I can remember twice, I went, that's not for me. And we talked about it a little bit. It was a very common actress who plays in a lot of the movies, but then all of a sudden she was in a Hallmark Christmas movie that she had a different accent, and I couldn't adjust that was
too
her.
much, too different.
It was like, come on, that's not really you. And so, but of course, she's never really her. But that one, but honestly, like I can't even think of like I maybe two that I haven't watched. I just record them. So
the thing that people will have to, there are people who are listening to this and they're in America, and they'll be like, why don't you just have Hallmark Plus, which I don't believe you can actually get in Canada.
No,
right?
but I should look into it.
I know, we just have to figure out, somebody will like send me details on how to like get you a VPN and get you set up with Hallmark Plus. But I don't think you can get it in Canada. So you have to, my mom has to do a lot of work to, literally there's a Reddit channel. This is from 3 years ago. This is what I do, Mom. Whenever I have I think you've seen me do this. It's like, if I don't know how to do something, I just Google it.
Yeah.
And so there's 4 Canadians, where do you watch Hallmark movies? And then people are responding, oh, channel 329. Oh, channel, 329. Channel this one. So yeah.
And realistically, do I need more? And I think eventually we get them all, but it isn't like it's an easy process to just say I can have them all. But it's worth the effort, you know. It's worth the effort.
Okay, why do you like Hallmark movies?
Because you always feel good at the end, and that's this time of year. You always feel good, but I kind of consider the movies to be a means to an end. So you watch the movie, and you go through the love story that you think isn't going to happen, that they hate each other in the beginning, or somebody comes back from the big city. But really that's just to get to something that's the root of the true meaning of Christmas, in my opinion.
Yes.
So things like Family Matters, right? So families that have had difficulties.
The 80s television show? Oh no.
No, different Family Matters. But families that had difficulties in the past or rocky relationships, that those can be resolved. Sometimes people go on for years and continue to not speak, but the message is always there that family matters and difficulties can be worked out. Little traditions are important. Like if I asked you, like, what are some of the traditions that we had?
I shared one today. I shared, I had our holiday party the end of the year, and we were putting on, I put on a soundtrack, but then at the end, someone requested their favorite Christmas song, and then I put on the Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton Christmas album, which is probably my favorite, other than the Michael Bublé one. Could go back and forth, but you would put that on when we would decorate the Christmas tree.
Right. And then over time, I just listened to it by myself while I decorated the tree. But it was a tradition.
Because we left, not because we, because you would decorate the tree by yourself. Yeah, even when we were around. Yeah.
And then I asked you one time, we had a joke about like, what if you could choose something in the house to be left in the will. Yes. Because I told you a funny story about a relative of mine who she had all the names of her children on items. And then when they would go to visit, they would move the names so that they would get
swap. So that's how she remembered who would get which item. And then they would swap the names to get better things.
So we talked about that one day, and I said, what would you want your name on? Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, the lamp that you can touch and it lights up. Is that
that? Right? But we talked about, and then you said some of the Santas from the Santa collection.
Oh yeah, my mom has an amazing Santa collection.
Yeah, like somebody asked me how many I have. I don't even know. Like I showed one shelf of Santas on Facebook, and they thought that was a lot, and like that doesn't even touch it. Like that's just.
Do you like getting more, or you're like, no, there's enough Santas? Like, do you rotate out Santas?
They all go out. They all go out. I find a spot.
They all get work.
They all, there's no rest for Santas. They all get work. So, and then for me, like we can't do it anymore because our family dynamics have changed because my kids have kids and they want their kids to be home. But we used to do Christmas Eve service. Yes. And then we would do fondue. We would go home and do fondue, play games.
And games. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Play games. And then we would open the unpredictable gift of Christmas jammies. Oh, no,
spoilers for what we're getting this year.
Oh no. Yeah, it's kind of like a Hallmark movie though. You know how it's getting. So
the pajamas is another, that's a pretty great, that's what we do. So yeah, my mom gives us all a gift, throws us a package. It's not a box. It's like literally the pajamas are wrapped up in wrapping paper. So you know what you're getting, but then you get nice new pajamas to wear on Christmas Eve night, on Yeah, the night of Christmas. It's
Yeah,
the
and now
best.
I'm smart enough with the grandkids. I try to buy bigger so that now I see they're doing all kinds of Christmas things in there and jammies
True.
from years gone by. So
It's true.
yeah, so Hallmark
Well,
brings
so
that
you
out,
just
right?
like Christmas is a little bit of
Yeah,
the
but it's funny too because in my house, in my family, Christmas was lovely, but it wasn't a big deal. But when I married into the Leader family, Dad's mom was huge. Like she was Mrs. Christmas.
yes,
And
yes.
so that's kind of where I started to grow it and grow it. I think it started with a bit like I had to have my house decorated because the leaders were coming. But now, like, I just love that. That's my favorite part of Christmas. I stress over gift buying, I stress over Christmas dinner, but decorating the house is like, I love sitting with the lights twinkling, watching a Hallmark movie. And so to me, that's what Hallmark does. It brings out traditions and things that really matter and getting together with people. And so at the end of every movie, like there isn't one where you leave the movie and go, oh, like I'm scared or a horrible feeling. You just always end up with your heart full. So why wouldn't you watch a Christmas movie?
Well, I like Christmas movies. I do like, but I have my I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Elf, and I like the two Home
Yeah.
Alones. Those are probably my go-tos. But the Hallmark movie, people have there's a certain attachment to the Hallmark movie. The people, and then there's I feel like they make so many of them. Like I'm looking at what came out this year, and it looks like from November 1st to the end of the year, there's going to be like 25.
Yeah. I know. Like there's so many. And yes, there is kind of the same theme. There's usually a couple that gets together, but that's just one small part of it. It's seeing all the other things that happen that make me happy. So
Okay, the one that you recommended was the Christmas cookbook, but is that this year?
yeah, that was a new one. That was a new one. And that was sort of about people like that were alone on Christmas started a group to support each other because everybody else, they'd all been at breakups. And so they came together. But then somebody new came to town. They let her into the group. That was controversial because, the two didn't get along, the guy and the girl. But then in the end, they found out that like one of the couples was secretly dating and they didn't want anybody to know because they didn't want to destroy the concept of the group for the guy who had started it. But then at the end, like they end up together too. So, but it was just a little different theme. I watched one last night where a Broadway star was kind of on the rocks with his career and ended up going home and then directed the local high school musical and like did some great things for selfish reasons at first. And in the end, sacrificed a job so that this mother and daughter would reconnect. So like, different theme,
Just
but
people
lovely.
being nice people. Is that what you like about? Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
like it's
people
heart. Yeah,
finding
it's heartwarming.
happiness, right? People finding
Mm.
happiness, finding out who they truly are. I think it's very accepting. Like there's, same-sex couples in Hallmark, which I know not every channel
Mm-hmm.
will permit. So they're very open about that. I mean, it even stretched into the show Finding Mr. Christmas, which is on season 2.
Yeah, I do think Jessica wanted to talk a little bit about Finding Mr. Christmas, but we didn't time this well enough because that will end in a couple weeks. This
Yes,
is the
they're still.
Jonathan Bennett hosted show where the winner gets put into a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. So technically, time wise, that person's already been picked, and so they're already in a
Of
movie that
course.
will probably air right after that. But it's kind of fun because the leading men all get to star with somebody who's a Hallmark actress that's well known, and so you get a little bit of the insight into how they make a scene and what it's like and how they do some improv sometimes and those kinds of things. So I've enjoyed that.
But so both seasons have been Mr. Christmas. They don't do Mrs. Have they done Mrs. Christmas? They haven't done that
They
yet.
haven't done that yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Get on
Okay.
it.
The other one that I feel like a lot of people watch this year is the Bills one, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Did you
Well,
watch that one?
isn't that the one from last year though? And then it was replayed again this year. I've watched it both. There might have been a new one this year too. I did the one last year for sure, where the family wins best fans, those kinds of things. So that was good too.
Holiday Touchdown.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah.
This
And
year or last year?
I watched one last year that had the football, and there was one this year too. And I'll be honest, sometimes like when we started talking about specific movies, like I have to really stop and think because I watch so many. I know your friend Jessica will be able to keep them
They're
all.
all named pretty like if I look at like here's the name on November 3rd, it was Christmas Joy. And the next one is Road to Christmas. And then it's Christmas Eve. And then Christmas in Love. And then Christmas at Graceland.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much all the same.
They are. So no wonder I get confused in my old age. But the one that I love too is my Christmas family tree. And I think that might have been last year. And it was different too, because it was a girl who found out that she had, through one of those ancestry things, found out that she had family she didn't know about. So that was a little different twist too. And then that changes everything. So
also, I was just randomly looking at 2018. I had scrolled up the page. So those are like from 5 years ago. They're all very similar named. And then the other thing, these are just Hallmark, which I presume other places have also tried to capitalize on Hallmark movies and have made.
So Candace Cameron Bure used to be the star of Hallmark. She's from a show.
Full House, right?
Full House. Thank you. So she then branched off, and she was not, from my understanding, not as open to delving into same-sex couples. And so I don't know whether that was all of it. So I don't know whether that's appropriate to say or not. But
you can just say allegedly, and then it's fine.
Allegedly. So I think hers. So she's more of almost like a Christian. She's very religious.
And now she's moved to Great American Media. I see.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about I talked about, subscribing to something because I do like her, and I did like all the things that she was in on Hallmark, because she not only did Christmas movies, but she had a detective series, and they tried to bring that back with somebody else being her, and it didn't work for me. So
the Wikipedia is saying what you're saying, which is that she says Hallmark has become a completely different network than when I started. I wanted to tell stories that have more meaning and purpose and depth behind them, including those with stronger faith-based themes, which is obviously fine. But then some people believe that those are an allusion towards a trend towards progressive themes. Abbott left Hallmark Channel in early 2022, shortly after it faced criticism for briefly putting a Zola.com commercial depicting a lesbian couple. So,
she took people with her. Like, she lured other people, whether she made them an offer they couldn't resist or whether they shared the same views, which is fine. People are entitled to their opinion and their views. And I think her movies are probably wholesome. I would love to know if they're deeper in meaning, because I don't think there's a Hallmark movie that's deep in meaning, but they're lovely movies, right? And so
you never know. Well, this got more serious than I thought it was going to be. I just wanted to talk to my mom about Hallmark movies, and then we're like, is Candace Cameron Bure canceled? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is okay. Well, maybe when I'm home, I feel bad. I actually have never watched one with you. We've never watched one together.
You've never watched?
No.
Wow.
They're really, I don't think you know what? No, that's not true. I've watched one Hallmark movie for a holiday party at work. My old boss, that's what we did. We did like a cookie exchange, and we watched a Hallmark movie. So I think I have seen one singular, but it wasn't with you. So I'll have to.
No, it wasn't with me. I'm just considering though, like, I haven't finished Christmas shopping. There are probably some box sets.
Oh, perfect.
Yes,
that's
because
great.
Just what I want.
Great stocking stuffers.
I know, like, it'll be one of the Christmas baskets that we do now. So
okay, so fun. We'll do what's the like White Elephant or whatever. We'll do that, but it will just only be Hallmark. Actually, a really great idea I wanted to do. If you watch a lot of Hallmark, I did want to do this with I wanted to do holiday movie gift exchange, where you got somebody and then you would pick out a Hallmark movie for them. So you would draw some, if I got you, I would pick one that I thought would be fun for you to watch, but I never had the time. I feel like I want somebody to do that because I think it's such a fun idea.
Yeah. I get why people trash them a little bit. Like, I belong to a weight loss group on Facebook, and they were trashing Hallmark movies the other day. And it was like, can I be a part of this group now? Can I?
How dare they?
So they're missing the purpose.
Everybody watches and takes part in stuff that's somewhat, I play video games and watch reality TV, everybody has their thing,
And I agree. The other movies are great too. So on breakfast television, which again, back to that, every day they're featuring another Christmas movie, and they talk about it and a little bit of the history of it and what the other actors have gone on to do. So the other ones are great too. I had never seen Christmas Story, but I took the girls to see the Christmas Story play, which I wasn't, that's a classic for many people. So
yeah, Mom realized though it was a little more naughty than she thought maybe. So, but we don't really watch that one.
No, but it was also promoted as bring the family out to see this local community play. there were many children in it and at it. So, you know.
Do you have a favorite Christmas? Do you have a favorite Christmas movie? It can be a Hallmark one. Do you have a favorite?
No, I have to admit, there's something about Elf that the first time you
It's
guys
really
wanted
good.
me to watch Elf, I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Pretty stupid though, but it's pretty great.
That and Christmas Vacation always makes you laugh. So,
I do like that.
between those two, only because they're classics, right?
It's the
But
gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
it is. It
Okay.
is. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Mom.
So, yeah, well, I might have to go and watch a Hallmark movie. My choir tonight is canceled,
Yeah, I heard.
so I think,
Yeah.
I can watch another Hallmark movie that I hadn't planned on, and so
Their loss is your gain, I guess. I don't know. That's fine.
yeah. And if people haven't watched one, you need to watch one. Like, you have to watch one.
I did watch one.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm saying to
All right.
anybody out there, you got to watch one. So I
Okay.
can't wait to hear what Jessica has to say, because
Yeah,
maybe she'll have some I don't know.
She's gonna pick. I think coming up, she'll pick her top 5 of all time, and then give the hits or misses of this year. So
Does she have the sweatshirt? Can't believe
I don't
over
know.
all these years I've never had the socks or the sweatshirt.
Yeah,
It's hard to believe.
Don't buy that before Christmas. Okay. All right. Thanks,
All right.
Mom.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Here, I have a little appetizer up front, but really here we're back to talk really about Christmas. I feel like I'm like slandering my mom. My mom was lovely. It was so fun to talk with her. But I am joined here by Jennifer of the Do You Watch What I Watch podcast. I'm so excited for you to be here, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. This is an honor. I'm such a big fan of RHAP content. If there was like a pie chart of TV that I consume, it's like half reality TV, Survivor, Big Brother, Married at First Sight, Traders, of course, and then the other half is Hallmark Christmas movies. So this is like both of my worlds coming together in a perfect Christmas dream. It's a dream.
Yeah, and we're like really on the Venn diagram here because I reached out to some RHAP people to be like, does anybody know? I need a Hallmark expert, and it was Asia who was like, I got you one. I got Jennifer.
Yeah. Asia's so sweet. I got to guest on the podcast with her and Jason a couple years ago because Married at First Sight was in Nashville, and I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee. So I got to kind of, I don't know, pretend to be an expert about cool things in Nashville, but I'm not always on the up and up of the coolest things, but it was fun, and it's fun to kind of form a little friendship with her. So, yeah.
So fun. I love Nashville. I was in Nashville for a bit. You know what? I accidentally was there the night that the Country Music Awards were there. And so I do have to admit, that like in my memory now, because I drove down to New Orleans and then we did Memphis and then Nashville. And I loved Memphis. Like I have to say, I was like, I really want to go back to Memphis. I went to Nashville and I'm a big country music person. Like I grew up with country music. Like
Okay.
it was very fun, but it was very busy downtown.
Yeah, so Nashville has gotten very popular the past 10, 15 years, and we haven't really handled it well from a traffic standpoint. So that's why I listen to podcasts so much. My commute is ridiculous to get to work. Just what used to be 30 minutes is now an hour 15, and I just put on some podcasts and let it roll,
It wasn't even traffic.
Maybe
Really.
you can come back another time.
I will come back because I do think like I would love it because I want to find. But like I think I went to the Johnny Cash Museum and I did a bunch of stuff in Nashville. It was very fun. My brother is a Titans fan, a huge Titans fan, so I think I'll be back in Nashville. You say, what are you a fan
brother
of?
Must be resilient. Yeah. No, the Titans are terrible. I don't do sports, but I know enough to know the Titans are no good right now. So God love him, peace be, they the best team win, I guess, or something. I don't know.
He's been a Titans fan for a long time. So yeah, since Eddie George since he's been a fan. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they were good then. Yeah. Okay. We digress.
Okay. Not football. This is Christmas movies, Hallmark movies. I don't know how much I said this up front, but I really do feel like these are not movies that Taran and I, but I think last year I was like, Taran, we should both watch a Hallmark movie and we'll talk about it. He was like, yeah, maybe. Just like his polite way of saying, no, thank you, which is fine. I didn't watch any Hallmark movies leading up to this podcast. I have to admit, I probably should have watched one, but it's been very busy. So what I wanted to do is to bring on somebody who I could sort of like cede the floor to a little bit and maybe interview a little bit about like why Hallmark movies resonate so much. And there's such a thing in pop culture because I do feel like they're not new, but the idea of them being as popular and there being so many of them feels kind of new. Is that right or is that wrong, Jennifer?
That's right, as far as I know. So I'm not a Hallmark historian,
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
my co-host and I, Josh, on our podcast, we consider ourselves Christmas movie connoisseurs. So I started watching them like 2016, 2015. I was recently married and we had cable, and I had not had cable in a long time. And so I just started recording a bunch of Hallmark movies. They all had Christmas somehow in the title. And I honestly started from a little bit of a let me heckle these, kind of hate watch them standpoint. But then slowly over time, they've really, I still hate watch sub because I mean sometimes you have to heckle them, but they've really I've developed a soft spot in my heart for them because at least while I watch them, it's escapism, right? Like I know I can sit down and have a 2 hour block of time with commercials. If you don't have commercials, it's even less than that. You're gonna have a neat little story wrapped up in a bow. There'll be a happy ending. There might be a big bad developer that pops in, or the oopsie doodle is what we call like the big mishap near the end, like somebody overhears something and they
Mm.
misconstrue it, but it's all fixed in like 2 seconds. You know, it's completely unrealistic and silly. But I think what really did it for me in 2020, when we were all, in 2020
Mm.
world, I made it my mission that year to watch all of the new Hallmark movies. And I was going to talk about them on my personal Instagram. And I kind of started doing that, and people were responding in really positive ways. Just whether they were entertained, whether they watched the movies or not, they thought it was fun to kind of follow along in the good, bad, and the awful. And my now co host Josh started doing the same. And then the podcast was born after that. But I think it's had an uptick because we are inundated with this 24/7 news cycle, and it's usually some, not great things in the world. So having a source you can go to for escapism and some positivity and some heartwarming stories. I mean, that's why I go to them. And sometimes they'll make you laugh, sometimes they'll make you cry and all feel things whether you're ready for it or not. So that's kind of why I think they're popular. I mean, it's really taken off though as far as the quantity goes. Last year I went back and looked. We did not cover all of them. We can't, but there were 48 new movies on Hallmark last year between Hallmark proper, Hallmark Mystery, the sister channel, and their streamer Hallmark Plus. 48 new movies in addition to the back catalog. It's ridiculous. So this year, Hallmark has downsized greatly. There are 24 new movies on the network, which is
Mhm.
still a ton of new content. More movies than anybody really should have time to watch. But they have downsized. And I think what we're seeing is it's kind of drifted to more quality and less quantity, which I think is a good thing. Because when you have 48 movies, there's just bound to be fluff in there that is junk that may be acquired. And so overall, this year's slate, I think, is in more positive direction.
I presume the fluff is fake snow, right? It's just fluff. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of fake snow. There's a lot of CGI.
Mm.
That happens. Here's the thing. I don't presume to present these movies as cinematic brilliance, right? We're not winning Oscars. We're grading on a
Sure.
curve, okay? And so I think if all of your viewers and listeners understand that, I know these are not brilliant films, but if you take them for what they are, I think people can really have a good time with them, especially if you're into Christmas or the holiday spirit at all. So,
Okay, the thing that I would say that I feel like Hallmark gets a lot of flack for, and it is sort of the jokes about these movies is that they're kind of all the same formula. And like I think I know well
yeah.
enough to know that I know that I talk with my mom. I was like, oh, I heard about the Buffalo Bills one. She's like, oh yeah, I watched that one. Or like, I presume that they all have some twist on them. And how much is it for you and maybe other Hallmark movie watchers is the appeal like, oh, they are formulaic, and that is actually by design, and that's why actually I love watching a bunch of them. Or actually, Grace, you're like misunderstanding that like that's a stereotype and they're not all the same.
Yes, and I would say both. I think both are correct. Hallmark of probably pre-2021-ish was very formulaic. All the movie posters look the same, girl in the red pea coat, handsome guy, chiseled, like is standing in a snowy scene. And the plots were not very different. It was kind of like you just spin the wheel and that's what they would, make a movie about. Since then, there has been a shift to new storylines, more diversity in storytelling. We have same sex couples, more, focusing on families and stories that look like our world looks, which I'm always going to champion and celebrate. And also different plot points. Yes, there's always a romance involved. I don't think there needs to be, but there is, good, bad, or otherwise. But also, we're seeing a trend of sometimes the movies focus more on like three gal pals who are teachers who are out at a Santa pub crawl. That was a movie a couple years ago called The Santa Summit. And it was more about the girls and less about the romance. Sometimes it's more about the father daughter relationships or these other relationships intermingled and not just like the hokey boy meets girl, leaves her job in the big city or boy owns a bakery kind of schleppy tropes. Those are still there, and there is something kind of oddly comforting about that, but they are making strides to tell different stories. I think the problem is a large part of the demographic tends to be or has traditionally been a little bit of an older crowd, maybe not as progressive with the new storytelling. They wanted something so formulaic. Like I'll hop in these Facebook pages now, and if there's something a little different about a movie and we're all excited about it, it gets so much hate online. So it's kind of like, how much can they stretch and still keep their viewership? I would imagine would be a conversation at Hallmark. I don't know. I'm just,
Oh,
a yokel watching them on TV at my house. But I think there would have to be, you have to have a blend of some of the safe movies and some of the formulaic ones, but also sprinkle in the new flair too.
okay. And then the other thing I see, I guess I'm looking at just Hallmark Channel movies, and what I'm like, maybe I'm like looking at the amount of them, but I'm kind of like lumping every movie that Hallmark makes. So they also have like I'm looking, they have like Spring into Love, which I assume is like not a Christmas. So I may be overestimating the sheer amount of Hallmark movies, because there's Hallmark movies and then there's like Hallmark Christmas movies or holiday movies.
Right. And our podcast focus more on the holiday movies because we've tried to cover some of the what we call off-season movies. They're just not as magical, and then you are left with more of a basic story and kinda like subpar storytelling. So and those just aren't as fun to talk about. Hallmark does have a movie checklist app. I'm gonna be vulnerable with you, Grace. I'm gonna admit something just between us, right? So Hallmark has this app, and you can go through and like check off how many movies you've seen. And I did it. I was in the waiting room with my daughter at a doctor's appointment recently. I've seen like 350 of these movies.
That's okay.
And I might need help. Okay. It's a cry for help. And I understand that. I'm self-aware enough to know. But most of them are Christmas. I don't dabble in the off-season content as much, but the diehards, because believe it or not, there are more people diehard
Yeah.
than me, really get into all of it. And it's a lot of content over there. They're a machine.
I told my mom before, I feel like she was like, trying to like defend, like not defend, but be like, and I don't think they're like and I'm like, who cares? We all have stuff that we watch that we like, that we know is, is whatever and fits a certain niche, and it is what it is. So no shame here about the Hallmark movie fandom. But I do feel like people maybe find Hallmark movies. I find this a little bit as well. Like I wouldn't really know where to begin. And so this is the task that I've brought to you, which is the movies that people show up. My mom said everybody should watch at least one. And so we'll maybe see if you
Mhm.
can give folks some recommendations in terms of which one they should start with. And if they like them, maybe there are other ones that they might like as well. But I guess that's the question to you, Jennifer, is where should people start?
Okay. So I made a list of 5. Is that too many? Is that okay?
Perfect.
You're good? Okay. All right. So I'm going to call these the on rampers. All right. So number 1, I'm going to go Ghost of Christmas Always. This came out a couple years ago. It's a fresh take on the Dickens tale of the Christmas Carol, but you get the ghost of past, present, and future. It's like a corporation. So their job, they get a case file every year, and their job is to study about this person all year. And then Christmas Eve, they go and figure out how to tag team and convert this person to having a good heart again. Except there's some time travel stuff mixed in and a lot of magical stuff going on, Christmas magic. And there's a romance, of course, but it is so well done. Oh, and by the way, did I mention Carl Winslow from Family Matters is one of the ghosts? What more do you need to know? Okay. This is a
I
great one. It's funny. It's also very heartfelt in moments, and I definitely recommend this one. Oh, you're pulling it up. Look at you. So
Jennifer,
fancy, this
I
production.
I have to say, unplanned. This is the second Family Matters reference on this podcast today. My mom, I actually joked at my mom. She said one of the reasons she loves Hallmark movies because you realize that family matters. And I said, the television show from the 80s?
Yes, yes,
Amazing.
yes.
Uh,
Exactly. And here's Carl Winslow. He's doing it.
yeah.
And so this is a fun one. Um, and you kind of get a little like the time travel was a little retro vibe with costuming too. So it's also one thing that sets Hallmark apart from some of the other networks. Because now, let's be real, any major network is doing Christmas movies, right? Because they've
Mhm.
seen how popular it is and they want to capitalize on that. But I think by and large, Hallmark does it the best as far as the quality of production goes. Again, we're not winning Oscars, okay? But I do think they put a lot of time and care into wardrobe, directing, editing, production, music, all of it. So
Are there like Hallmarky,
recommend
like
this.
where?
All right. Are you ready for my next one?
Yes, please. I was gonna ask if there's like a Hallmark awards. Like, do people win? Like, you're the best actress, but of just Hallmark Christmas movies.
We have a award show on our podcast called The Watchies, and we give out awards
Perfect.
every January. That's our January podcast. So
Love that.
we do that. It's pretty well acclaimed. This is our 4th season. It's a big deal. I mean, the actors are clamoring, for a Watchie. So,
Obviously. Okay, what's next?
okay, the next one I'm going to give you. All right, Haul Out the Holly. This movie stars Lacey Chabert. Are you familiar with Lacey Chabert?
I'm not familiar with any of these people. I don't think, Oh no, I am. I
Well,
am familiar with them.
no, you are. You are. So she's sort of the queen of Hallmark, and she's been in probably more of these movies than anybody. But usually she plays it more serious. This movie is when Hallmark decided, you know what, we can be funny too and zany. So basically, Lacey Chabert's character, her parents are going to away somewhere tropical for the holidays. Lacey Chabert goes back home to her hometown to stay at her parents' house for the holidays and realizes this neighborhood is like big into Christmas and she has to decorate it a certain way and she gets violations from the HOA, who's also the hunky guy. There's lots of townies and zaniness and silliness, and it was probably the first movie on Hallmark that was made to be more calm than rom. So that's a big deal for us over there, okay? And it was so well received that there has been a Haul Out the Holly 2. And this year, there was a Haul Out the Halloween with one of the girls from the Halloween Town movies on the Disney Channel. So it's now like a little enterprise going on over there with the Haul Out world.
Wow. Lacey Chabert, most notably from Mean Girls, is I think how most people will know. Is that right? I'm right on that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Very.
and Hallmark has made her into an ornament this year. So Lacey Chabert can hang on your tree if you're so interested this holiday season.
How does that work? Oh wow. Okay.
You can just go to the Hallmark store and get it. They've also announced this past weekend that they've already started filming at like in current time as we're recording. Lacey Chabert is in Walt Disney World recording a movie with Walt Disney World and Hallmark that's going to air next Christmas of 2026, and it's a big deal for the Hallmarkies. Okay, we're very excited about this collab between Disney and Hallmark.
That is very fun. That is Disney collab. It's very, so I live in Toronto, and obviously a lot of things are filmed here. I don't know if Hallmark specifically how much is filmed here. I know that my mom actually, as soon as we stopped recording, she was like, "I didn't mention Port Perry, which is a town near where I grew up, where they film a lot of stuff because it just has this sort of like small town magical feel." But I do remember going to work one day, and it was like maybe like the summer, and just driving through, and there was a whole place that was dressed to look like a Christmas tree. Like you go pick out your Christmas tree.
Uh-huh.
So it is very fun to see them in person.
It is fun. And a fun fact, I met Lacey Chabert a couple months ago briefly, and we had joked on the podcast. She always wears these like off the shoulder dresses or sweaters, and we had joked on our podcast that she has the best shoulders in Hallmark. Well, then I met her and I'm just totally like word vomited. I was like, "You have the best shoulders on Hallmark." And then I found myself touching her shoulders. And Grace, I was like, "Oh my God, they're going to put a restraining order on me. Like, what am I doing?" She did not know what to do. She was very kind, but I'm still embarrassed for myself in that moment. I can't be trusted. But yeah, Hallmark had this big kickoff thing for their countdown to Christmas in Nashville a couple months ago because their big movie this year, we can talk about it later, it was a Grand Ole Opry Christmas, filmed in Nashville, which I actually got to be on set one day for. More to come on that. But they had this whole meet and greet thing with like 20 of the actors, because they do use a lot of the same main actors, which can be a feature or a bug depending on your thoughts there. I like to think of it as a feature. It's like a little theater kit, like you go back to the well and you pair this one with that one type of deal. But anyways, I got to meet a bunch of the people and it was a delight. So there you go.
We'll talk about later. I know I know the like using of the different the same people is common because of my mom was very excited to talk about Finding Mr. Christmas, which I'm sure you have thoughts on as well.
Yes.
But Stephen Tobolowsky from Heroes and Peter Jacobson from House, people will know these people. These are real famous. They're not, they're real famous people. Okay, what's next?
Yeah. That's a fun one. All right, number 3, I'm going to give you A Biltmore Christmas. This one came out a couple years ago. There's always one big movie on Hallmark that airs the Saturday after Thanksgiving that is like their flagship movie of the season. You can tell they put all their eggs in the basket, all the budget in. This one was filmed at the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina. Hallmark loves time travel. This is a time travel movie. So modern day, Bethany Joy Lenz, she was on One Tree Hill, which I never watched, but I think a lot of people did. So she's great. She's in these movies from time to time. She travels back, I don't remember to what year, but to the past, and they're actually filming a Christmas movie at the Biltmore, and she interacts with people then. Of course, will she fall in love or not? We don't know. But the production value of this is top tier. Amazing, gives you all the Christmas feels, and it's very over the top, but I think in a good way.
I didn't know time travel was such a staple of Hallmark movies, Jennifer. I did not know this.
We love some time travel. So this one was a time travel with a large hourglass at the Biltmore was the device. And we can talk about some other ones later. There always has to be a reason for the time travel or a device for it. But yeah, it's, and again, that's the thing. It's silly and it makes no sense, but you just have to throw logic out the window because it's Christmas magic, right? That's how you can justify anything. It's Christmas magic, and that's okay.
Does this have a lot of she goes back apparently to 1946, which if historians know is like, I mean, a little, I mean, I guess she's going to America. So it doesn't, it wasn't like there's a lot of battles happening in America, but post-war, but like immediate post-war, Jennifer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't talk about any of that. No, that's all good. It's all fine in Hallmark world. We're not going to focus on that because we have a romance to talk about, okay? We have a romance, and will they kiss at minute like 1 hour and 54, all right? That's what we got to get down to.
Okay, number 4, I think, on your list.
All right, number 4 was the first movie that I really loved. It's called Snow Bride. And yes, it sounds ridiculous because it kind of is. But it has Katrina Law. She's on one of these is it NCIS or one of those shows now. So she doesn't do Hallmark movies anymore. But basically, she was a tabloid reporter and she was tasked with getting the hot scoop because they'd been tipped off that it was kind of like a former senator's sons. One of them was going to get engaged around the holidays. So she takes off in her Volvo or whatever into the, snowy mountains to try to track down his family estate and get the scoop. Her car breaks down. Luckily, her best friend's bridal gown was in the back because she was supposed to be getting it altered for her. She puts it on, ends up falling down in the snowbank, and the senator's son finds her, whisks her away, which would be a really creepy movie if it wasn't on Hallmark. But then they end up fake dating because he's trying to make his brother jealous because the brother is now dating his ex-girlfriend. Oh, and by the way, the guy's mom is Jill Taylor from Home Improvement. What more do you want?
I don't know that I want more than this. I love that the synopsis. You asked me before, you messaged me like, do you want the official synopsis? And I was like, no, we'll be more we'll be more casual. And then I do love reading the synopsis here. You've been doing a great job of explaining it. Don't want to, but then I love that this one is like, there's more. And I was like, oh yeah, from the sounds of your being like, and then this, and then this, and then this. This is the one where there's a lot more.
Yeah. There's a lot of action, but there's also a lot of chemistry between these two, which we don't always get. There's a little bit of, it's almost believable that they would be together. And you get a lot of Christmas traditions. They're like baking gingerbread houses for, the local hospital, and they're going Christmas shopping, because sometimes these movies, we marketed them as Christmas movies, but they really could happen any time of year. But movies like this, like Snow Bride, actually have Christmassy events happening around it, which adds to the holly and jolly of it all. So this was one of the first movies I watched, which is why it has a soft spot for me. It's not for everybody probably, but it is funny. And I tend to lean more into the funny rather than the sad, sappy version of Hallmark, where we joke that some Hallmark exec must think the deader the better, because there's always somebody dead in these movies. We're always grieving somebody. There's a widow, or there's a dead dad. And I lost my dad a couple years ago before Christmas, and doing the podcast after that was like a minefield. Okay. It was just grief everywhere. So I lean more towards the happy, like funny, zany side of Hallmark, which is where my recommendations are skewing. So
Okay. I love it. Very happy to see Patricia Richardson. Because yeah, all these people, sometimes like someone will show up and I'm like, oh, whoa, you were like, my mom and dad read, but I'm like, oh, you were a TV mom or dad. And it's like, then they weren't in stuff that I watched for a while. And Patricia Richardson probably fits into that mold for me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
she's great.
Last one.
All right, my last movie, if you're looking for an on-ramp movie, okay, this is very tropey, this is very classic, but it's one of the better ones of the bunch. So this is my safe bet. If you're looking for a girl in a red peacoat movie, it's called Christmas in Evergreen, and it stars Ashley Williams. She was on How I Met Your Mother for a little bit back in the day as like the baker, if anybody watched that show, Ted Mosby's little girlfriend there. And it's this precious, picture perfect town of Evergreen. She has a veterinary clinic there, but she's dating a big shot business guy that, of course, we're not supposed to like. And she's going to sell her veterinary practice and move to the big city to try to give this relationship a go with him. She's driving around her old red jalopy truck in town that you see at, Hobby Lobby and Walmart and everywhere as home decor. And the truck breaks down. Who does she meet in the process before she gets out of town? A widowed father and his precious daughter. And there's a snowstorm, so she can't leave. She can't get to the airport. And will she fall in love with him before she leaves to go back to her boyfriend? Maybe. I'll let you find out.
Yeah, no spoilers here. Okay. But this does feel pretty classic in terms of like, this is what when I look at this poster, I'm like, oh yeah, Hallmark movie.
Yeah. This is definitely the safe one, but it is very cute. And then they went on to make like 3 more Christmas and Evergreen movies. I did not watch them because I tried and I did not enjoy them. But the first one of the series is very cute and very sweet. And if you're looking for something, to have on while you're wrapping presents or something, this just might be it. Ashley Williams is one of my favorite leads on the network because not as much in this movie, but she usually gets to be very funny and witty and like quippy. So I'm always happy to see her. She would be on my Mount Rushmore of Hallmark leading ladies.
Okay, very fun. I feel like, yeah, when I was talking with my mom about finding Mr. Christmas, I'm like, they haven't done a Mrs. Christmas, but it's probably because like not just anybody could do it, but the women are so like, it's kind of the joke is kind of like, yeah, and then here's this guy who's going to come in and do the scene. Like, I feel like is the appeal mostly which one is the appeal? I guess both of them would be, but
I think a lot of the demographic really loves the hunky guys. So I think why we won't get a Finding Mrs. Christmas is, so Finding Mr. Christmas, as your mom already said, I'm sure, is the reality show where they're hunting for the Hallmark hunk. And then last season was the first season. It's a reality show. They have a lot of, like, they put them through these challenges. It's kind of like Big Brother. It's kind of like Big Brother reindeer games in that, sometimes they have them in those big hamster wheels and they're knocking down Christmas trees. Or this year there was a slip and slide, activity, and they're trying to put candy canes in a barrel. So they have those challenges that have no consequence other than if they win one of those, they get an advantage in an acting challenge, because usually there's 2 parts. So usually there's an acting challenge in the second half, and every week somebody gets eliminated, and they bring in Hallmark All-Star. See, there's Ashley Williams in her red coat that we just talked about from Christmas and Evergreen. So they bring in Hallmark stars to kind of help coach them, and they're trying to find the next leading man. Controversially, season 1, the winner was not who I would have picked. I was team somebody else that we interviewed on our podcast, and he did not win. and he got to be the lead in a movie called Happy Holidays on Hallmark at the end of the season last year, and it was terrible. If you want a movie that's so bad that you can just laugh, maybe watch that one. But now we're on to season 2, and it's a really fun show. If you like reality TV, they're not going to show the guys like being catty with one another or anything. It's very much like the brotherhood. Let's bro out and drink cocoa and play cornhole. But there's a lot of funny moments too with it. So I think if you like the reality TV aspect, this is a good show to watch.
Yeah, as soon as you said like the appeal is like that they're the hunks and the audience is like picking between I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I get it. I get why it's Finding Mr. Christmas. Yeah.
Well, the audience doesn't get to vote. Actually, it's the vote is just
Yeah.
Jonathan Bennett is the lead host, and then they have a couple other judges, but they should make it audience voted. And I think because there are challenges where they're like in a talent show, and some of them take off their shirt and they're being like thirst traps on stage. I don't think you would probably get that if it was Finding Mrs. Christmas, and that is
Right.
a double standard. But like, I don't want to see girls all. I don't really need any of
I
it, but I
get
don't
it.
want to see the girls greased up.
I get
Pretending
it.
to be a reindeer. It's a different,
Okay.
it's a different vibe. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. I've never watched it, so I can't. But as soon as I watched it, I probably would have been like, "Oh, I get why the thing that I'm suggesting would be a bad idea." Okay. I think those are the on ramp movies as you called them. Great
Yeah.
suggestions. My commitment to you is I will watch. I
Yes.
promised my mom. Also, I've never watched a Hallmark movie with my mom, so I promised I would do that on the pod earlier. I will watch one. We'll see if she's very excited. She's probably seen all of the ones that you recommended, but we shall see. Okay, the other piece of business here is like
Please let me know. I was going to ask which one stood out to you most. Yes, please let me know.
Oh, okay. Which one stood? I have to admit, the hardest part about a Hallmark movie is that all of the names now do blend together. Jennifer, I have to admit to you.
I understand. Okay, do you want a Dickens ghost movie? Do you want funny HOA stuff, Biltmore, Paparazzi Snow Bride, or the tropey classic Evergreen?
I think I will go with Evergreen. I feel like that. I feel like I should go like very Hallmark for my first Hallmark movie. Although I do think the appeal of what's
Okay.
the one with the girl from Mean Girls? I could do that one as well, I think.
Oh, Haul Out the Holly. Yeah. Well, let me know. Just message me once you've watched one. I feel very evangelical, like I'm trying to bring everybody to my side. I'm gonna pass around an offering hat, a Santa hat later.
Okay, I love it. Okay, well, yeah. So the other course of business here is like the state of the Hallmark State of the Union, a little bit of like specifically this year. And this is a segment where I mostly want you to be able to like the Hallmark fans who are listening to be like, that's right, what Jennifer said is right, or maybe they disagree, but like they're in the know. It's not like I have no idea about that and I don't care. It's like tell me, give me the dirt, give me the tea on Hallmark movies in 2025.
Okay, so I think by and large, like I said earlier, the quality is a lot better. So on our podcast, we each bring 3 gifts to the pod, is what we say, and like gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Except it's gold or coal. So if it's something good, it's gold. If it's bad, it's coal. And then is it worth the watch? So we've given out a lot of all golds this season, which never happens. So either we're getting weak and losing our edge, or the movies just are better. So Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper, I think is by and large the fan favorite this season. It is funny. It's about a weatherman who he's down on his luck always. He always ends up hurting himself, right? He goes back home for Christmas and he ends up at the ER, and his high school crush is the ER doc, Kimberly Sested. The guy's Robert Buckley, who you've probably seen in some stuff. And, just what hijinks ensue in and around the holidays with that. We also get a fantastic sequence of this old lady walking group in tracksuits or windsuits, which makes me laugh. So it's very lighthearted, very fun, and there are a couple sweet moments and a good romance as well. So it's a good blend. Grand Ole Opry Christmas is my probably top movie for selfish reasons. So like I said, I grew up in Nashville. My dad was actually in a country music band. That's why we moved here when I was an itty bitty baby. So I'm well versed in the country music world. My dad was a songwriter. This movie has Nikki DeLoach. She was on the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day with Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and all that crew. So you may have seen her in some stuff. She's the leading lady. She sits on a pew. Yes, I realize how ridiculous this sounds. Lean in, everybody. Okay. She sits on a pew at the Grand Ole Opry stage and is transported back to 1995, where she can, you guessed it, see her dead dad again because we love a former, relative. But it's actually really sweet. She gets to reconnect with him, and there's a lot of heartfelt moments. There's a lot of good music. There's time travel, this time with a magical pew. But it really was so well done. And I am selfish because it was all filmed in Nashville. And I got to be on set one day when they were recording some of the scenes. So it has a soft spot in my heart. I was supposed to be an extra, like I was a seat filler in the audience, and I was like, this is my big moment. And they cut every face that was there that day from the final cut.
You got cut,
Nary a
Jennifer?
face, but I was there. Like 200 of us got cut. They ended up intersplicing old actual Grand Ole Opry footage instead of the extras who were there because I was in the 1995 scenes. I mean, hair, makeup, the whole thing. Definitely, I got the axe, but you know what? That's okay because it was so cool I got to meet the actors and be there to just see a movie set and how it works. Everybody was so positive and upbeat, and they filmed these movies in like 14 days. It's crazy how quick they turn them around. So it's a well-oiled machine for sure.
Yeah, one of the
This
things
movie's not for everybody. If you don't like country music, it probably would get lost on you.
I do love country music. I grew up listening to country music. My mom and dad are big country music fans. I grew up. It always sounds silly to me. Like country music seems like it's from the South, and it is from the South. But I grew up like north of Toronto, and so in the more rural, and we listened to a lot of country music. And so I wanted to go. There was like I just didn't have time when I went to Nashville to be able to like go to the Grand Ole Opry. But yeah, it's obviously like meaningful even to me, who's like from Toronto. So okay, this one actually does super appeal to me. I'm sure my mom has already watched it, but perhaps I'll make her rewatch it.
This was their big Saturday after Thanksgiving movie, so it's pretty new. This was their big flagship movie this season. Lots of promo, and Brad Paisley's in it. He wrote the music for it, and lots of old 90s country outfits and the whole thing. So again, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely gotten a lot of buzz and well received. People who have actually watched it really love it.
And then the other thing I was going to talk is like, I do think like it is pretty wild when you look at like the movies that are coming out and like in 2025, like I'm just looking at the list here. Like, yeah, you do have people who like directed multiple of them, like they really just are like churning them out. Not a lot of people do multiple ones, but there are a couple people who have. Lucy Guest has a couple movies on this. She's a director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If yeah, she's great. Yeah, if you're in with Hallmark, you're in, it seems like. So yes, but by and large, the movies are really good. There's been a couple tidings for the season had Tamara Mowry Housley in it and BJ Britt. It was the only movie that has two people of color as the leads, which I was very excited about, and they are so capable and so good. And this movie just kind of fell flat. It was her, so she's a single mom, and she has this precious little boy who's an eager, like 8-year-old, wants to be a journalist kid, and he meets this news anchor, and then it kind of just doesn't really go anywhere. But will they fall in love? So I wanted a little more from it. There was another one that I'll tell you about. Christmas ain't. Oh, go ahead.
Well, what is she looks so familiar. That's not who is she?
She's a twin with sister.
That's right. Yeah, did all the 90s people just go to Hallmark movies and I've been missing out? Wow. Okay. All right, next one.
Yeah. She does the Hallmark beat, and then her sister Tia does the Lifetime, and she's also in a Netflix Christmas movie beat. So it's kind of, they've got it all cornered. Okay, they've cornered the market. The next one I'll give you is A Christmas Angel Match. Was pretty bad. It's two angels who, and it's not even a religious movie at all, but their job is they're supposed to be angels and they're supposed to be matchmakers and they're supposed to go to earth and form these connections and these sparks and get their client to fall in love sort of. But it just doesn't land. There's a CGI scene where they're fighting over a time slot to do yoga in CGI clouds of heaven, and it was weird. The pacing was off. It didn't really check any of my boxes. So that was a pretty unfortunate one.
You're kind of making me want to watch it, but I won't watch this one. I won't watch A Christmas Angel Match, I don't think. Okay.
Well, don't let it be the only one you watch. But I will say, okay, and this isn't Hallmark. This is an aside. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. The worst movie we've seen this year was on Up TV, and it's called The Great Christmas Snow-In. And it stars Joey Lawrence, who we all remember from back in the day. And I don't know. Can you read the synopsis of this one just because it's so zany and out there and bonkers?
I can read it. Justin retreats to a cabin meant for his honeymoon, but is snowed in with Jane, his ex-fiance's cousin. A spark forms between them when Justin's ex comes with her boyfriend. Secrets and discoveries about love and second chances reveal. And you did say we all know Joey Lawrence, but I believe we also know Joey Lawrence from Celebrity Big Brother.
Yes, of course. How could we forget? Yeah, that's what he's most recently been in. Yeah, this movie's terrible. If I ever show up missing, it's probably because the Lawrence family has, had me swim with the fishes because I've been so vocal about how much I hate this movie, but it is so bad that you will laugh. His ex-fiance's cousin is a fictional romance fantasy writer. So we get scenes of like Joey Lawrence dressed up like Zorro and Tarzan. We get CGI snow. One of the girls falls off a balcony at one point and somehow is fine. She's fine in the next scene, but it's a brief moment of peril. And the best part, and by best I mean, there's a fireplace behind the girls talking at one point. It literally looks like they took a flat screen and put the Netflix fire up, like the fire thing, and put the flat screen in the fireplace surround instead of an actual fire. I'm not even kidding. It's so bad.
The other thing about this poster is a little confused because, like, I'm assuming one of these is the cousin and one of them is the ex-fiance. Is that right?
The cousin is in the orangish. Yeah, the cousin's on the left in the orange with the glasses. The ex-fiance is on the right. And, she might still have feelings for him. Who knows? They're snowed in a cabin with some B-roll footage of some snow.
Okay. All right, but this is the worst one. And it's not even a Hallmark movie. So, like, you'd have to traverse elsewhere to find the worst one.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. But so Hallmark's putting out 24 new Christmas movies this year. And then they've moved more into the reality and scripted series thing too. So we have Finding Mr. Christmas is the reality show. Then they have Baked with Love, also with Tamara Mowry Housley, the sister. I have not watched that. My co-host has watched it because he likes holiday baking shows. He said it was pretty good for what it's worth. If you win Baked with Love, your dessert gets featured in a Hallmark movie. So
the greatest prize of all, Jennifer.
The stakes are high.
It's cakes, not steaks.
And then the scripted series. Yeah. For scripted TV, they have a show called Mistletoe Murders. That's a little mini series that, I mean, if you actually watch like real murder shows, this is not going to scratch that itch. But if you like Christmas movies but want a little bit of murder sprinkled in, this is really well done as far as Hallmark goes. It's like, I think 6 episodes each season, and they released season 2 this year. And it kind of goes episodically, but like episodes 1 and 2 are kind of a mini movie. Episodes 3 and 4 are a movie. And so you can kind of watch it that way. Basically, every mini movie, somebody in this town's getting murdered. I think I would move. Like, I'd be listing my house on Zillow, but God love them. We're working through it in this town.
This is what happens in shows like that, where it's, like, I mean, like Grey's Anatomy, I think just got renewed for its like 26th season or whatever. And it's like, how much can happen in a hospital? This is Aaron Ashmore. I think Aaron Ashmore is also a twin, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, that's okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I get them both confused.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
TV,
then there's
any
a
other
new
TV? Yeah.
show that just started. It's called yes, 12 Dates Till Christmas is the other mini series that just started. It stars Mae Whitman. She was in Parenthood,
Oh,
and what was that other show called? It's something about girls. Um, yeah.
oops.
So the first 2 episodes have come out so far. She's the leading lady and her friends it's takes place in London, but really I think they shot it in Ireland, but she her friends set her up for this dating program that she has to go on 12 dates leading up to Christmas and presumably meet 12 guys and find the love of her life, and she's a little snarky and, pessimistic about it, but so far, again, only 2 episodes are out. I am all in on this show. This show is so good. It's so funny. She brings that sarcasm and wit that we've seen her do in other shows, but it still has the Hallmark glow, but it's not as saccharine, sweet, Kirkland's signs on the wall as a lot of the other Hallmark programming. So if Hallmark usually is too sweet for you, this could be a great on-ramp as well.
She was in Good Girls, and she was in Perks of Being a Wallflower and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So yeah, very fun. I like May. I like May Women. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay. Anything else, Jennifer? Any other?
I think I've rambled enough. I mean, is there an are you do you have any other burning questions that you wanna ask?
Um, are they gonna run out of names at some point? Like they've used every name.
For the people or the movies?
The movies.
Oh, okay. Because the characters, I think, get some a lot of Holly and, you know, Faith and names like that. The movies, no, I think there's a generator somewhere at Hallmark headquarters, and they just keep they probably ran an update recently, and they're just gonna keep churning it out. I don't know how
Okay.
they do it, but this year we got a movie called The Snow Must Go On,
I think
featuring,
that's a,
a high school program where the snow machine doesn't work. There's lots of punny things, lots of
that
punnies.
one is that one is, that one's like literal, like the snow must go on, and they were like, but it has to make sense. It can't just be like the pun name.
Mhm,
Wow.
mhm, exactly.
Okay. This was so fun. I think this was so helpful. I'm so intrigued. I mean, the thing I love most is culture, and I think Hallmark movies are fascinating because they are so much culture for people. Like so many people I know just watch a ton of Hallmark movies, and so I'm fascinated by them and like the ecosystem within it. So thanks for coming on, and then tell people where they can find more about you and your podcast.
Yes, so I'm Jennifer, I have a co-host named Josh, and we are Do You Watch What I Watch? We have a YouTube channel, and we're also wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, what have you. We, I think, are covering 25, 26 new movies this season. We have a whole back catalog. It's our 4th season of talking about these crazy movies and again, giving out golden coal along the way. So you can find everything you need to know on our website at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com, or we're most active on Instagram at doyouwatchwhatiwatch. If you want to send me a message, let me know if you agree with any of my hot takes, if I'm right or wrong. I'll take it. I can handle it. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Like I said, it was a literal dream come true. So I'm honored. I'm really honored.
Well, thanks for being on, and yeah, well, I'll let you know when I watch a Hallmark movie.
Please do. It's my Christmas wish. I'm gonna ask Santa that you watch a Hallmark movie and that you tolerate it. Like at least like mid-level tolerate it. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay. Well, I think we can do it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to me and my mom chat about Hallmark movies, and then Jennifer chatting about Hallmark movies. I know that there was probably Jennifer and I had a little bit of an audio delay. I hope that was bearable for you all to listen to. I quickly wanted to touch base at the end. I think Tara and I will probably chat about next week, but lots of big Paramount and Netflix buying Warner Brothers news. Netflix put in a bid. Paramount apparently tried to do a hostile takeover today, so pretty wild. I think either way, Paramount or Netflix buying Warner Brothers is not great for the future of movies. Even if they commit to doing movies now in theaters, I don't know where that will go. My belief is that movie theaters are going to kind of slowly more and more become more like going to the opera or the theater. They'll become like less rare of a thing to do, but I think the longer we can preserve that, the better. But even more so than just me treasuring the movie experience, the big thing that we lose from monopolies is they'll just make less content and our content will cost more. So we'll see. Unfortunate that like the state of the world means right now that likely the group that gets to buy Warner Brothers is the group that agrees to make Rush Hour 4 for Donald Trump so that he will, approve the merger. So that's annoying. I watch a little bit of new TV, but I think I'll mostly save it. And movies. Five Nights at Freddy's came out, as well as Zootopia 2, although I think I talked a little bit about that last week. So I'll be back next week with Taran. Taran and I. This will probably be a little bit of the new routine. Taran and I talking one week and doing our usual thing, and then myself with a guest, either talking about something else that's on television and movies, and in some cases doing that in a spoiler fashion, like Shannon and I did for Wicked for Good. Mike and I chatted Stranger Things. We did that as a bonus pod. That might make sense to be in the Tastemakers feed depending on when it comes out. So if there are things that you want to hear me talk about in spoiler detail with some guests, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me. I'm at Hi From Grace on most social media platforms. I feel like I'm pretty easy to find out there. You can also comment in the YouTube section if you're watching below. So that's it for this week. This was a Hallmark spectacular. Next week, Taran will be back. We'll chat. And in a bit, start thinking about your top 5 television shows of the year, because we will get folks to submit the form. I'll probably have that form ready to go for next week. So take the week to ponder your best television shows of the year. It's been a pretty good television year, I would say. And so I'll be back. You can also find everything I do on I write for Parade. I write for Pop Heist. I do This Century in Cinema. I'm counting down the top 100 movies of the 21st century. Last week with Inside Llewyn Davis was Zach Brooks. This week is The Act of Killing, a pretty hard to watch documentary, I must admit, with my special guest, Austin F. Smith. So thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.